Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live event on YouTube and LinkedIn, a collaboration with the ACE Mentor Program of America. I'm Christi Powell, and with me is my co-host, Angela Gardner. We are so thrilled to be here today to talk about an industry that not just builds structures, but dreams and opportunities: construction, architecture, and engineering. At Women Talk Construction, our mission is to highlight the stories of women who are thriving in all these areas. We believe in showcasing how these careers are viable, profitable, and enjoyable. Today, we're here to inspire, educate, and motivate both current professionals and those considering a career in these dynamic industries. So let's dive in and share some incredible stories and explore how we can add 1 million people to the industry. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get started, and we're going to let our guests introduce themselves, and let's start with Diana.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Eidenschenk, and I am the president of the ACE Mentor Program of America.
Okay, Chandler.
Hi, everyone. My name is Chandler McLaurin. I am an entry-level designer here at Gale Nurseries, and I'm also in greenhouse nursery management.
And Katie.
Hi, good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Katie Bawarski. I am the Director of Student and Alumni Advancement for the ACE Mentor Program of America, and I'm also an ACE alum and architect myself. Glad to be with you today.
Awesome.
Awesome. Yay. So I'm going to start the first question. I just want to remind our audience again, too, if you want to ask a question, please put it in the chat and we will look at it and then throw those in as we go. And if we don't get to it, we will try and ask them the question later and get a response for you. And we'll probably write a blog about it. That way you can see that. So we're going to kick this off with Diane. And the first question is, what inspired you to join the ACE Mentor Program, and what's kept you passionate about it?
So my father was actually the founder of the program 30 years ago.
Nice.
And I was not in the industry. I was in insurance, and he called me and he said, the program's going really well. We want to bring it to Philadelphia. And I was able to meet some professionals, some engineers, Tony Naccarato, and a few others. And we started it in Philadelphia. And I was a volunteer for many years. And the president at the time said to me, anytime you want to come work for me, you just say the word. And I had 3 small children and I was in corporate America. And I thought, I'm ready for a new adventure. So I started working 17 years ago, which I cannot believe. And I then had the privilege of being asked to become the president. And I've been the president going on almost 8 years. I am extremely lucky. I love what I do. And it is a privilege to be able to enjoy your job, enjoy who you work for, but also have a mission that impacts so many lives. Not only are we impacting these students as the future, workforce, but we're also impacting the community, schools. We're impacting the mentors who come and mentor. Many of our mentors say that they get as much out of it as the students. So the answer to what keeps me passionate, it's our volunteers, it's our mentors, it's our students. I mean, it is all of it. And just feel very, very lucky to love what I do and have such passion for what I do.
I love it.
That
Family
is so
business.
awesome. Yeah, family business for sure. And just like you said, being able to do something you love every day and being able to help people is so rewarding every day. Yeah. So Chandler, we have a question for you. How did participating in this program influence your decision to pursue a career in ACE?
Thanks. I want to start by saying I have been in this program since I was 14 years old.
Nice.
It was offered at my school, my high school, Williamsburg High School for Architecture and Design. And I wanted to get into everything and be involved with architecture as much as possible. I already knew that I had this niche of being artistic and expressive. And my teacher was like, maybe you should join this internship program. I started my freshman year, and having the opportunity and learn and work with professionals that are in the trade on a daily basis that work for architecture, construction, civil engineering, I learned a lot, and I was able to absorb and learn different paths that I can take in this industry. and I was able to find my niche in landscape architecture. Because of this internship program with ACE, I graduated and I was able to get a scholarship to go to the university of my choice, which was Temple University.
Nice.
Mhm. Yay.
That's amazing. Thank
I
you,
love
Chandler.
that.
Thank you for sharing that. And how inspiring. So, can you imagine what we could have done if we'd have had those opportunities when we were 16 years old, 14 years old? I mean, I just can't
I
even imagine
know.
where it'd be today. So,
Yeah,
love, love, love it.
that's great. Awesome. Okay, so the next one's for Katie. How does ACE continue to support its alum as they transition from students to professional in the industry? This is going to be a very important question because often, Chris answer, we're asked by even like Clemson grads, we need to find a job. We can't find a job. And we're
Right.
referring to usually females, and they're in the construction program or engineering. So, this will help us tremendously in answering their questions. So please
Yes, please help
share
us.
with us.
Absolutely. This is my favorite topic to talk about is alumni support. And I personally benefited so much from being an ACE student and having support throughout my post-secondary education. And now I really have the privilege to lead this initiative for the ACE Mentor Program of America. And over the last 5 years, we've really started to formalize and invest in some of the alumni support that was happening organically and informally. For example, I kept in touch with my mentors informally throughout undergrad, and they helped me get an internship, and I worked for them when I graduated. And now we've kind of formalized that model through the Transformative Partner Program, which is a new initiative. We're going into our 4th year now. And this is exclusively for ACE alumni, where we pair them with a mentor one-to-one that matches their discipline to support them in their post-secondary education. Many of our students, roughly 40%, are the first in their families to go to school. So we're hearing that it's so helpful for them to have somebody that they know is in their corner that they can reach and call to have if they have, academic struggles. Many are leaning on their mentor to help them find an internship. So doing resume review, mock interview skills, things like that. And we're so proud that we've been able to serve over 300 alumni in this program. And
Nice.
it's growing this year because of the student interest. So we're currently recruiting more mentors to be able to support this,
Nice.
specifically in the architecture and engineering realm. And the other big thing that we do for our alumni is scholarships. We, in the last program year, ACE students as a whole received over $4.5 million in scholarships.
Wow.
And 500,000 of that was earmarked for ACE alumni specifically. So this is an area that's growing based on the feedback that we hear from our alumni. We survey them regularly so that we can gear our programming and support to what they need. And internship support, one-to-one mentoring, and scholarships are what we hear. So like I said, this program and support is only growing for ACE alumni, and it's been an incredible blessing to be at the realm of that.
Okay, I've got to ask one more question.
Well,
Like
I
you
know.
hit all the
You're
things.
asking the one I'm gonna. Okay,
You hit
ask
all
me.
the things that I thought you would hit, but I have one very basic question. Do you get the young ladies and asking you what to wear
Oh,
and where to find clothing that fits? That's all I want to know. As Angela's sitting
Absolutely.
back there wearing a female made gear on her
Safety,
shirt
yeah.
today. Yes.
We do, and it's something that's so important that we've learned is providing that education to mentors that students, they might not have family members or friends that they can call that are in the industry. So they might not know what is expected in the professional world. What does it mean to go professional or business casual? So not only do we get those questions from students and we provide that, professional development and education for them, but also that training for the mentors so that the mentors realize, meet the students where they're at. Don't just assume that they're going to know all of this coming in. You need to have open and honest conversations to make sure the expectations are aligned.
Awesome. Thank you.
love
We get
What-
those questions
what I
a
would-
lot.
Yeah, I would love to just highlight something because is when we started this program, the first thing that I said was we as staff need to take on a mentee for the transformative partners to just get a feel for what was entailed and what we needed to do and be able to help the mentors. And Chandler is from New York, but she went to Temple in Philadelphia. And when she won her scholarship, her mother said, she's going to Philadelphia. I live in Philadelphia. I said, Mom, we've got her. If she needs anything, I'm here. And when the Transformative Partners started, I thought of Chandler right away. And so I took on Chandler as a Transformative Partner mentee. And we've been together for over a year. It might even be 2 years. I lose track of things. But I wanted to see firsthand what it was all about. And Chandler, I don't know if you want to share anything.
May I add, yes, Miss Diana being my mentor was probably the best thing ever. I don't really have any family in Philadelphia. All my family is from Brooklyn, New York. So having someone to lean on that is involved with this internship, we would meet and go to dinner like on Wednesdays, and I will talk to her about what's going on at Temple University, giving her my schedule, the rundown, and the courses that I'm taking and upcoming courses that I want to do to pursue in architecture. And she helped me realize to follow your dreams and continue to pursue what makes you happy. I was at a crossroads at a point, what do I want to be in architecture? I was more attuned with the arts and the nature and the sciences of things. And she said, go for it. And then my advisor at Temple was like, maybe landscape architecture is for you. You can still be in this field. There's different paths and directions you can take. And I majored in landscape architecture my sophomore year, and I've never looked back since. And I have a thrive and a passion for horticulture. So Miss Diana being there was just an amazing to push me in the right direction. So I thank her for that. And she's still here. I just saw her Thursday. She came here and saw my company and all the things that I'm doing now. So I'm forever grateful for it.
That's awesome. Angela and I have a best friend who is thriving in her own business as a landscape architect. And she actually just finished a project at Clemson University. She's the one that did Tiger Walk, and it is absolutely beautiful. So I don't know how familiar you are with Clemson, but it's a beautiful campus. And Tiger Walk is it's a memorial to what Clemson football is. And so to have Natasha, our friend, be able to do that landscape architecture on that project was pretty cool. Like just being there, knowing Natasha did it, that was cool. So that's going to be you someday, right?
Yeah.
Diane, so let's get back to some more questions. So you did touch on this a little bit, but how does ACE Mentorship Program create opportunities for students to explore their careers in architecture, engineering, and construction, other than, what you guys are doing every day, right? Dinner Wednesday nights and talking about, what's the best fit for them?
So at the program, when we start with the high school students, we are showing them the whole industry. We're giving them an insight to all the disciplines of the industry and giving them a real understanding of how the pieces fit together, with the hope that something's going to excite them. Something's going to really engage them that this is the path I want to take. And you heard Chandler say architecture, and then she really found her love of plants and was able to realize that landscape architect. And there are many, many students that probably have no idea what a landscape architect is, or a bunch of the other things that we do. We have students say engineer, and I don't even think they truly understand what an engineer does. So we want them to understand the disciplines so that they make the best decision for their post-secondary education. What major? We have so many students that start in college and start in major A and end up in major D by the time they graduate. And that's just really a waste of time and money for these poor students. So we want them to understand the different and make a really good decision. They're building a network with their mentors. They're getting an opportunity to do high school externships. We have summer camps. When they go to college, they can sign up for transformative partners. And then ultimately, the network that they build during all of this is hopefully the network that they're going to use to get a job. And we hear, so each year, the percentage of alumni that are mentors goes up. We're almost at 10% now.
Nice.
Because they have been so excited about the organization and what the organization does that they want to come back and give back and do the same thing for the next generation. So ultimately, hopefully we're exciting people to realize that the construction industry is an incredible, exciting, and rewarding industry.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's so important. So Chandler, we're gonna go to you next again, and you may have kind of answered this, so just let me know, and then I can switch it up a little bit. But what was the most valuable lesson or skill you learned through the ACE that you still use today?
Yes, my valuable lesson is never give up. That was
Yeah.
the thing that I strive and continue to push through because architecture is a very intricate and as well as diverse field. And at
Yes.
times it can be challenging and you're faced with problems, whether it's coursework or just in real life in general. And you just have to continue to keep pushing forward. And also persistence. If you stay on top of things and continue to
Yeah.
stay persistent and thrive, you'll be awesome. And that is something that I learned from being in this field. And another lesson that I learned is bridging the gap and to give back. I want to help other women that are in my community, especially ones that look like me, because sometimes we don't have those opportunities presented to us, and we just have to continue to never give up because you can do it. And I'm here today to speak to it. And there are less than 1% of Black women who are in the construction industry. And I want to be able to make that difference and talk to other girls and women and minorities and continue to keep going in this field because you can. And you will definitely find your niche. I tell you,
Yes.
Oh, yes, you can. And yeah,
weird. And then
yes.
landscape architecture, I was taking woody plants classes, herbaceous classes, and I just knew that horticulture and being in the landscape field was for me. And you'll find that through trials and tribulations.
Yes. That's awesome. How inspiring. You're inspiring a lot of people today, Chandler. Just being on here and talking and just inviting everyone into our industry, I think is the most important thing that all of us can do right now.
Look at how young she is, Christy, and she's
I
getting
know.
back.
I
Like,
know.
we
I
think
know.
that's
That
so
it-
cool.
it is.
FYI.
It is. I mean, if you have that heart of giving back your entire
Oh,
career, your
we
career
need
will
more of
never be
you.
a job. It's the truth. So, Katie, I'm going to add another. And, Michael in the background said that was an amazing testimony, Chandler. So
Got his attention.
keep rocking it. So, Katie, I'm going to add a little twist here to what we were normally going to talk about, because I think it's important that our audience knows where ACE is, right? You are ACE Mentor of America. So I know that you have a lot of chapters all over the country, and I want you to talk a little bit about where those are and how people can find them, because the Chandlers of the world need to know who you are and where you are. But also tell our audience, how do the Chandlers stay connected as an alumni and give back to the program like what Chandler is doing today?
Yeah, that was amazing testimony, Chandler. Completely agree with everybody. And that spirit of giving back is consistent in every ACE alum that I talk to. I'm so privileged to be able to have so many one-on-one conversations with our ACE alum, and they all want to give back because of the experience that they had and make an impact in their communities. And it really gives me hope and a fresh perspective looking towards the future. In terms of where we are located all across the country, and we've recently expanded to Canada as well, starting in Toronto. We have more than 70 local affiliates that provide programming in their communities across the country. So every program looks a little different. And we have the details of all of that information on our website. So acementor.org, you can go in the top right-hand corner, it'll say find my affiliate, and you'll see the map pop up of the whole country. We do tend to be located in bigger cities, but then we do have some, more smaller communities located throughout the country as well. And we're always looking for volunteers. Like Diana said, the volunteers are really the cornerstone of our program. So you can get involved as a high school mentor to make those relationships earlier on before they're even in post-secondary. You can get involved at the board level. Each affiliate has their own local board of directors. Or you can get involved as a transformative partner mentor and work with the ACE alum while they're in their post-secondary and helping them persist, like Chandler said, through the difficult studies and into the workforce. The second part of the question, how alumni can stay in touch. Diana said it, we have almost 10% of our 5,000 volunteer mentors were students in the program, which is just a testament to everything that we're talking about, that they want to get engaged, they want to give back. So the biggest thing that I like to tell alumni is that we want to hear from you. We love hearing from you and hearing where you're at in the industry. We love using our platform to be able to share your story and get the word out about your successes. The biggest thing that we ask for ACE alumni is we have an ACE alumni database that they can register in so that we have their updated contact information so we can keep in touch with them about volunteer opportunities, additional scholarships, internship support, connecting with maybe your local or your regional or even national network. And we hear from ACE alumni in those surveys that I mentioned, about half of them do want to get involved in the program. So that 10% number that gets involved as mentors has been growing every year, and we expect to see that continue to grow. I think somebody from the LA affiliate calls that a home run. When they start as a student, they come in, go complete their post-secondary, and then they're in the workforce working as a full-time employee and come back as a mentor. And going back to where I started, I mean, those are the wins, those are the home runs, those are what is so fun about this job, to celebrate the difference that this program is having and expanding the network and helping these students achieve their career goals.
That's awesome.
You know what? I want to ask a little bit more to that, Katie, because in case someone in our audience, I don't think we have an ACE program in our area. How if someone does want to start an affiliate?
Charleston.
Okay, well, it's not in that
That's the
state.
closest. Yeah. Charleston's the closest. I looked.
But how does someone start an affiliate if they want to?
Yeah, great question. And we get people that reach out all the time to start an affiliate. That's actually how Diana and I met when I moved to a community that didn't have ACE and I wanted to help start one. I reached out to Diana. So again, I would direct them to our website, acementor.org. We have regional directors that oversee each part of the country. And just as an example, in my instance, I had reached out to Diana when I was working as an architect, and Diana was the regional director at the time for the Northeast. And a couple other folks had actually reached out to her with the same interest of bringing ACE to that community. And Diana was able to connect us and bring us together so we could start a program there. So we love hearing from people that want to get involved. We have a whole process for starting an affiliate and need to have a lot of companies involved, but definitely reach out. All the national staff contact is on our website, acementor.org. We would love to hear from you and work with you so we can expand this program to even more students.
Oh, we need to add something to our mission, Angela.
No, I can't add any more. I'm max.
Thank you,
I have
Katie.
to learn to say no, by the way. Hopefully you're teaching your mentees that.
Oh, yes.
I'm slowly learning that one.
Lifelong lesson.
Yes. Okay, so the next one will go to Diana. What roles does ACE Mentor program play in shaping the future of the construction and design industry? Because we so need y'all.
Mm-hmm.
So Chandler hit on it. I mean, when you look at the demographics of the construction industry, we are not as diverse as we need to be. And when you look at the population of the U.S., where the future workforce is going to come from are the populations that are not usually the ones attracted to the construction industry. So, we see about 13,000 students a year. 70% of our students identify as a person of color, and 40% identify as a woman. And so if you look at that population, that's not traditionally the population that comes into our workforce. So the fact that Katie said we're in all the big metropolitan areas, we really try to go into the schools that are under-resourced. We go into the schools of the students that may not have as many opportunities as suburban or private schools. And we want to give them the opportunity to do some career path research and understand. If we have a student come in and they go, construction is not for me, we feel like we still did our job. We gave them the opportunity to evaluate us. And if we're not for them, great. And hopefully they'll find their future path. So really what we're doing is our mission is to be able to excite high school students to want to come into the career in the construction industry. But one of our goals is to develop a diverse, well-prepared workforce for the future. And I wanted to just touch on one other thing. Katie talked about all the sort of the things that we offer. our alumni, we have a job board. A lot of our
Nice.
sponsors, our partners, the reason they're doing this is it's good to give back. It's great to give their mentors the opportunity to volunteer. But let's be honest, they're doing it because they need future workforce.
Yes.
And they are hoping
need
that
people.
the future workforce, that we're giving them access to this incredible population of bright stars. So we have a job board, and they, a lot of our partners want to know that their future employee was in the ACE program. We're tracking it now.
Right.
So it's really, for the industry, everybody in the industry should be involved in our program. Again, we are an industry-wide program. We want to showcase everything that our industry has to offer so that something sparks with the student. But really, by being involved, you also have access to your future workforce.
Yes. Yeah, for companies, for sure. And I think one
Yeah.
of the other things that I think students need to understand is that this program catapults you into the front of the line, right? So if you go to apply for the same job that 20 other people your age have applied for, who do you think what's going to be their preferred choice of employees, right? And I tell my daughters that. I told my daughters that when I was raising them, you need to be ahead of the curve, right? And so going through ACE program is making sure that you're ahead of the curve, right? You are the most preferred. So I think it's important to mention that.
Yeah. And imagine if you're applying to a job at a construction firm and you have a reference from one of their current employees, and a lot of firms have opportunities for employees to recommend someone, and they might even have a reward for that. The fact that these students are getting to know professionals from these companies is a huge step up. To be able to call someone and say, I'm going to apply for your company. Like, can you help me? What should I prepare? So getting the companies involved is so important for us. One, they're our mentors, but two, for the companies, it gives you access to an incredible pool of very talented individuals.
Yes. So Chandler, I'm going to ask you a question. A LinkedIn user asked the question, how do we get more women interested in the industry, in the architecture, construction, engineering industries? How do we do that?
How do we get more women into this industry? Well, for me, it started because it was offered in my school. I was like one of the only girls or a few girls. And I told different girls in my class, maybe we should join this, because Williamsburg High School for Architecture and Design was predominantly guys. And it was only a few percentage of the girls. So I would go back and tell my classmates, hey, I was in this wonderful program, you should join. I was at Gensler in New York, and I started in Ted Moody's Association. So just be able to break yourself out and try different things that are in non-traditional roles that women seem to not be into, but you should get in and be involved.
Try it all, right? I mean, how are you going to know what you want to do or what you love until you try it all? That's my motto.
Yes, and I would like to add on to what Ms. Diana was saying about this program being offered into my school. We shared a high school. It was 3 schools in one building. So under-resourced, and to be able to find it and start there. And my parents also pushed me. My parents were not in this field. My mom is senior manager of finance, and my dad is a co-director in a charter school. So they're not in these fields. So to have this internship and this program opportunity offered in my school was something I was able to take a chance on that most women, don't. So
Right. So what would you tell ACE students how to maximize this program for themselves?
I would tell them, once you're involved, to never stop asking questions. I have a mentor to this day. Her name is Alice Franklin. She's at Turner Construction, and she was there with me through the program. And we worked on different projects. We started during the beginning of high school, and we would showcase a project that we did in May within architecture and construction that we worked on throughout the semester. And I would just say, involve yourself in networking. Sometimes it's not about what you know, and it's who you know. So if you could just introduce yourself to anyone in that room, you can be able to make a difference.
Yeah, those connections make a huge difference, don't they? And I heard somebody tell me this a long time ago when I was younger, no connection is a bad connection. And I didn't believe it, but it's true, right? No connection is a bad connection.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, this is a question I'm just gonna throw out there, and anyone can answer it, but it's kind of pertinent to what Diana and Chandler are talking about. Christy and I have sat on either high school or college committees where they're talking about, how do we attract the talent that's not typical for the industry? How do we attract them to our schools? And that's high school, technical, or college. They need help with that right now. Do you help? Do you have something where you can show them how they can actually do that? Because I know that probably many of them would be interested in knowing how that is because, I think now they have that on their trajectory to get their numbers up, which is awesome. But have y'all ever been asked that question? Like, how do you help us do this? What does that look like?
Oh yeah, we get asked that a lot. People come to us and say, "Can we get involved because we need to drive enrollment?" So the first answer is get involved. Get involved because we, especially if they're a higher education, we have partners with higher education organizations that offer scholarships to our students. And we give them access to our students. So I would say that the biggest thing from a post-secondary higher education is get involved, call us. And I will say there is an email. It's info@acementor.org. You can use that email for anything. We will answer you and ultimately get you an answer for all your questions. But, there is a lot of people watching right now, the high school numbers. We are going to plateau in 2028. And so after 2028, we're going to see a reduction in the number of students that are graduating from high school. So the talent pool,
Small.
the pool to recruit for higher education is going to start going down. In many of the higher education institutions, the trade schools, the unions are all looking at that number thinking we have a problem now.
Wow.
And it's just going to get deeper when that number, the available pool goes down. I see one of my counterparts, Stephanie, summer camps, if any,
Great idea.
anybody has summer camps, whether it's trades oriented or engineering, architecture, our students are all looking for opportunities to really investigate this industry. Now, I will put a caveat that we told you that we go into a lot of the schools where the students are in need. So our students are not going to pay $3,000 for a summer camp at a university. So we have partnerships where we have scholarships for those. We have a wonderful partnership with Falling Water, the house outside of Pittsburgh that is Frank Lloyd Wright. We send between 12 to 15 students to do their portfolio, but they go for free because we help pay for the scholarships. But
that's why it's so important, right? For the ACE programs in the local areas to have companies on board. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sorry about that.
No,
that's okay. No.
That's a great response. We need to know that. And the camps. I'm glad you even nailed it. I was going to ask you, what about the price? Because, there's us parents between sports and everything else, where our funds are limited with, getting involved and having our kids get involved. But, Christy, did you know that number about 2028? Because I didn't.
I did not.
We've just been made aware of another.
Right. Another one that we thought was rough. I had no idea that was coming.
Yeah.
So Joey says, hello, watching from, it left. Oh, there we go. Watching from Campaign with Working Families, supporting my girlfriend Chandler.
Aww.
Love you, baby. Oh, I'm going to cry. You're doing amazing. That's what he said. So sweet.
I
awesome.
second that. Very proud. I'm sitting here like a proud mama.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aww.
I just got choked up. Sorry.
Aww.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So we're back to what we were talking about. That was exciting. What else do we have? Let's
Well,
see here.
we have a couple more questions, and then
Do we? Okay.
yeah, and then I just want to say this. My dad graduated from Clemson in architecture, and I mean, he even that program today, it's extremely hard. So you are awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And then even landscape architecture, and we should connect you with Natasha. She
Yeah.
actually has an episode
Yeah,
that
with
we
Chandler.
recorded.
Yes.
That. Please let me know.
Yeah, because she
Yes.
actually did the Grand Bohemian, all
And
the
Michael
architecture
Allen.
there.
I thought about Michael Allen.
Oh yeah,
He would
he's an
be a
actual
great
architect,
connection.
and
Yeah.
he actually was a football player at Clemson, and I
He
didn't
was.
realize the degree of like what you have to do when you're actually in sports, and then you're
Trying to
taking
get a degree.
getting an architectural degree at the same time. It's pretty incredible. He is super sweet. He's actually writing a book, a children's book. I think it's a little bit older about his life and finding architecture. And yeah, we'll have to connect you with him.
Yeah,
So,
we definitely want to do that.
Running joke at Temple is architecture students never sleep.
I can imagine that. I don't think Natasha sleeps much. It's pretty
No,
obvious that
but she owns
doesn't
a
sleep much.
business.
Yeah, and she owns her own business. So let me ask all of you this question. How do we, let's say there's business owners listening, right? We know that they can invest in ACE to help. We know that they can mentor. Let's say they're a mid-size or small company and they really want to make a difference, right? But they don't have a lot of time, right? Maybe they can't mentor. Maybe they're running, it's a one-man show or a three-man show, but they're maxed out. How else can they help where they're at? I know one of the things that I've seen in the past, is moms going and reading the House That She Built book at elementary schools, right?
Yeah.
So I know there's got to be tools and tips and tricks that these folks that don't have a ton of time but really love this message and really want to help, how do they help where they're at?
Yeah, I can take the lead on that one. One of my favorite things about ACE and the mission is there are so many ways to get involved. So one example, our affiliates all have fundraisers. A lot of them will do golf tournaments or a scholarship breakfast. So if they don't have the time capacity to get involved as a mentor, maybe once a year they can go and, buy a couple tickets for their staff to go and celebrate and hear the stories of these amazing students that are coming from the program. One thing, we've actually been addressing this specific challenge in the Transformative Partner Program, specifically about how we can engage some of these smaller companies that might not be able to take on an intern, for example, for a full summer. So inviting a student in just for a day job shadow to show them the office, maybe bringing them out on the field to a construction site tour, all of these things that maybe just take a few hours of planning and coordination on your part make a huge difference to give that student that real world experience. So there's so many different options, and just reaching out to your local leader to see what their need is. You could get involved with a board committee, reviewing scholarship applications. Really, the opportunities are endless, but it's just making that connection, reaching out, seeing what existing infrastructure is already in place to help spread this messaging and how you can best contribute there.
That's a really good point. So just reaching out to you and saying, hey, this is how much time I have. This is what I have to offer. And you can fill the hole for them, right?
Yes,
like for the most
agreed.
part, you can figure it out with them.
Yes,
Awesome. Thank you for letting us know, because there are a lot of people out there that just have never even thought about it, right? They don't even know where to start. We get that a lot with mentoring. A lot of ladies will say, how do I start? Like they think it's some formal thing that they have to, put together a plan and that kind of thing, but they don't, because you're there and because you already have many plans and many resources. And so I think it's important for our audience to know that you can do something wherever you are, whether you have a little bit of time and a little bit of money, or a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of resources. So I think it's important.
Yeah, and I'll just add on, sometimes people are a little hesitant of mentoring. Like, I don't know what that means. Know that we have incredible trainings. We also would never, and we're a group mentoring model. So you're going to be with a group of other professionals and you're going to be able to learn and get really comfortable before you're sort of put on the spot to be responsible for something. So no, even just coming in for as a guest speaker for a day. I mean, there are
Nice.
tons of things that we could talk about.
Yeah.
One of the things that we do, just to give y'all an idea as well, we actually will go I work for Hill Electric. We're an industrial engineer, and I consider us, I mean, we're a medium, 70 people. So we're quite small, and we're always working. We actually go into the high schools or technical colleges and teach them safety and lift training. Well, it takes us about an hour and a half. We teach them how to put a harness on. And then we do games too. So we interact with these students of all ages. And then we do a game where they drive a lift and they learn but we're also teaching them how they properly get on a lift, what they properly need to be wearing, where they don't put their feet and where they stand, and then they get to drive it and maneuver around some cones and see who's the fastest, and then they win money. They love that. And they get to put that on their resume.
Yes.
So that's a lot of time that we spend doing that. But for us, that is so much more impactful than going to a career fair.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
Just sharing that idea with some.
Yeah. And I
other
want to say
companies.
too that Angela and I, we don't have a ton of time, right? We both work full time, and we do this podcast because it's a passion. We think it's the most important thing that we can be doing with our time and having the experience that we have over the years. And I wish I had this when I was, first entering the field,
Yeah.
but we still make time to reach out to the schools and see if they need us. And that can be in a million ways, right? Some of the kids need Christmas presents because their parents aren't around. Some of the kids need, they just want us to come sit on a panel and talk to 70 of their girls and just answer questions, talk a little bit about what we do and then answer questions. And once somebody asks one question, it's really quiet until the first question.
Yeah.
But typically those ladies, young ladies, are just, they're starving to hear more, right? More information. So everybody that's listening, and of course, this is not unusual for any of us on here, but I think it's important for you to know, all you have to do is reach out to your local school and say, hey, how can I help? I have this experience and I'd love to be able to share it with your students. And they're going to welcome you with open arms for sure. And they're going to be so excited. They're going to ask you to come back again. You don't have to say yes, right? We're learning how to say no sometimes, but at the same time, you have a lot of opportunities right there in your neighborhood.
So I would love to tell you about one other initiative. We were very lucky. We got a grant from DeWalt, Stanley Black & Decker. We are now doing trades days around the country where we are bringing different skilled crafts and trades together, bringing students in. About 6,300 students have gone through them so far. And we're showcasing really the different trades in the industry. And a number of organizations bring in the AI, the goggles where they can be on a crane or they can do the bulldozer. But it really gives us an opportunity to show the students that there are alternatives to that 2-year or 4-year university path, and that there are some wonderful opportunities in the skilled crafts and trades for our students. So that's something else that someone could volunteer. It's one day. We ask you to bring information. If you have the ability to bring some kind of activity. And I will say when we surveyed the students, they just rave about these trade days and the fact that they, whether they come into the trades or not, if they do become an architect, an engineer, construction manager, it's extremely important for them to understand and respect what the trades do. So we're really excited about this opportunity with this grant. The grant is mostly for transportation because, as we all know, school bus transportation is sort of a challenge.
Yes.
So we need to be able to transfer the students to the fair.
I love
Yeah,
it.
that's awesome. I don't know if we have any more questions left, but I have a question. And Michael, there you go.
Yay.
Faye Ellison said, hi, watching from Manhattan to support my niece, Chandler. I hope some students are able to learn from your great expertise. Go Women in Construction, Channy. You are so inspiring, Auntie. That's awesome. And then Keisha in Maryland said, this has been a wonderful presentation. Chandler, you are an amazing champion and ambassador of the field, and I can listen to you motivate an audience any day.
Look
So
at this.
that's awesome. You're already
Chandler
inspiring
is just-
lots and lots of people.
You are.
One of the questions that I did really want to dive deep a little bit, we have a little bit more time, dive deep into, is that what can we do individually to encourage more women and people that don't look like us in the industry to explore it? How do we open up that conversation? I think that's probably the hardest thing for people that don't work in our industry, like to say, hey, did you consider plumbing? Right? Like, who's going to just randomly say that? So how do we as individuals add that to our curriculum, maybe at school, add that to our conversations, maybe at home? How do we do that, basically? Does anybody on this call like to share their perspective on that?
I mean, that's a very good question. And, we are always looking for how can we expand this knowledge to even students that are not in the ACE program. I think it's so important for shows like this, any kind of opportunity to showcase. We take it, I think students and families take advantage, don't realize when you're going over a bridge. Well, how are you able to go over that bridge? Someone had to build that bridge.
Right.
And construction is one of those industries where you can actually have an outcome. You can point at something and say, like the Tiger Walk, I did that.
Yes.
So it is an incredibly rewarding industry. But I think it's just constantly bringing out the questions of, did you realize that the construction industry did this or that? Books. There are a bunch of books now out, written by different professionals. I have 2 granddaughters, and they have Deja, the designer, that was written by architects. There is also a book called You Don't Have to Be on a Bulldozer If You Want to Be in Construction. But I think those kind of books, or the toys at a young age, to showcase, just because they're girls, they have a tool belt.
Yeah.
They wanted a tool belt. They saw the tool belt. But I think if we just sort of change the paradigm as we speak to little girls and really tell them they can do anything they want, and then give them the ability and the skills to do it, I think we would all win in the end.
So let me ask you this. So if we've got some schools that are really interested in what you're doing, them reaching out to ACE Mentor Program of America is a good idea?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now, if you're in an area where we don't have a program, we have been discussing the potential of some virtual programs.
Nice. Okay.
Because there are so what we need to do a program is we need professionals. We need people willing to volunteer to be mentors.
Okay.
So if we don't have the bandwidth to recruit mentors, we can't really do a program. And I'm not promising anyone anything, but we've gotten enough asks from places where there isn't the professionals that we may need to expand our virtual. We're building a brand new resource center where we're going to be able to offer it to schools that if we don't have an ACE program, but you want access to sort of the information and the excitement of the construction industry, we're going to really build this resource center that would be available to any student, not just ACE students.
Awesome. So top 3 things ACE Mentor Program of America needs. What are the top 3 things? I said professionals 1. Is that right? Was I right for the top priority?
People, volunteers,
okay.
Whether it's mentoring in the transformative partners, being on a board, coming to events, we need people. Number 2 is we need
Well, we need people.
We got people.
And we need
Now, you may
people.
be
Okay.
surprised our current.
Hold on just a second,
I'm
Diana.
not
You're
sure what's
cutting
going.
out. So,
Yeah.
Katie, do you know what number two?
Katie,
I'm going to guess what she was saying for number 2 is
Okay.
is funding for
Funding.
the program
Okay.
costs, but the biggest part, the majority of our fundraising goes right back to the students and scholarships.
Okay.
And I think what I would say for number 3, which is for ACE and the industry as a whole and addresses a lot of what we've been discussing today, is just marketing. You know, we
Okay.
kind of have a joke that the construction industry has a marketing problem in terms of,
You mean there is marketing?
maybe the lack of marketing is a better way to say it. But just getting the word out there, you know, something that Chandler talked about earlier on in this conversation was representation, you know, young people being able to see themselves represented as an architect, as a landscape architect, as a firm leader, to show them that, you know, they do belong in this space and they can have a successful career in this industry. So those would be the top 3 things, I think, for the ACE Mentor program.
That's awesome. People, volunteers, funding, and marketing right on the screen. So
can you hear me? Am I back?
Yes, we can. You're back.
So there is a third, there was what I was going to say was schools.
Schools. Okay.
So
We have
are a
Add
free
schools to that list.
We are a free program.
Oh,
But
okay.
a lot of the schools that are our target schools are under-resourced, and the staff is busy, and it is very difficult for us to get a contact in a school. It sometimes takes us 3 and 4 phone calls.
Okay.
So any schools out there that are interested, especially if you're in one of our geographic areas, we're looking for you, and we would
Okay.
love to talk to them.
That's
we
awesome.
experience that too. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's hard. There's only if they have a workforce workforce cooperative person there, that's usually the only person I can talk to, and still they're really busy. So I'm going to share y'all's information with some of the schools that I've already seen that really need this, that are
Yeah,
interested.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So,
The other thing I wanted to ask is, first of all, we are so honored
yes.
that we're able to collaborate with you all this year. Like, it was probably one of the most exciting things that happened to us this year, is being able to give back in a way that's going to support ACE and support the students and support women. And actually all people. Angela and I,
Everyone.
we don't care. We want everybody involved, right? We know a lot of men that are looking for jobs and have never thought about entering the construction industry. So we just want the word out there. It's so important that we have good people in jobs. But how can we do more to help you? As Women Talk Construction, how do we do more to help you? I know we've talked about a few things, but having one of these lives occasionally, is that helpful? Or, blogs, whatever. I'm curious, like, we're live and people get to hear a real raw conversation, right? About how do we do it together? Because this is new for us, right? All of us.
Katie, go ahead, answer. Chandler?
Go
Katie?
ahead, Chandler. Go ahead, Chandler, please.
Yeah. Let's hear from all of them, right?
Chandler.
Can you hear me? I'm sorry, my
Yes.
Okay. I wanted to start by saying having podcasts like this is a great platform to share. Just me talking about my experience, and you guys, Angela and Christy, talking about your experience, and just Women Talk Construction is a great way, a great start.
Thank you.
Blogs, and the way the world is going now, even if we can't see it, just listening to it. So a podcast. I just think this platform is amazing. Just getting the word out there and then just spreading it all over.
Well,
That's
we can
awesome.
do that.
Thank you so
certainly
much.
Help the
You just
marketing efforts.
made my heart smile.
Yes.
For platforms like these, honestly.
Yeah.
And there's lots of them out there. So hopefully they're listening
Yes.
and they'll jump on board too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the other thing is, you have networks of your own, help
Yeah.
us market ACE, make sure your network are aware of us. And if, we're always also looking for other partners. We've talked to other youth organizations because we've got the construction industry. So if other youth organizations like Boys and Girls Club are trying to do career exploration, call us, because we can help you do it for the construction industry. They say it takes a village.
Good point.
They always say it takes a village to raise a child, and we understand that. And so we're always looking for opportunities to partner and work together.
Okay. Awesome. And yes, we do have great contacts. And now that you mentioned that, the youth organizations that we know, that would be wonderful to introduce both of you. Kathy Geiger says, totally agree. Love Kathy. She's with the ABC. I can't remember which chapter, but Associated Builders and Contractors. Yeah. She said, I share Women Talk Construction with our local peer group for women in construction at least once a month. Thank you so much, Kathy. We appreciate you.
And ABC is a great partner to the ACE Mentor program.
Yes, they're amazing. I get to be a part of ACE, or ABC and ACE now, so that's pretty exciting. Katie, do you have any last things that you'd like to say to folks that really do want to make this more, give this opportunity more exposure?
Yeah, I would just say, don't be afraid. Again, I'm just channeling Chandler on this. Don't be afraid to ask questions or reach out to get involved, even if you can't see exactly how you might fit. Just pick up that phone and make that phone call, and we can talk through and work through the best way to do it. So don't be afraid to reach out, be brave, take that step, whatever it is, whether you're looking for an internship or wanting to mentor to find your future interns and your future workforce. Pick up that phone and make that call, and we'll work together to get you plugged in and advance the mission together. I think that's my favorite thing about ACE is we're so unique in that we bring the whole industry together, top competitors of national companies and the AEC that are typically, in my experience, kind of really segmented in their own industries. But being in a unique position where we are able to represent and bring together the whole community is just a really powerful thing. And so we're excited to grow our partnerships and grow our reach, all with the same mission to build up a better prepared and diverse workforce.
You are doing a fantastic job. And Stephanie, she's amazing. She's really amazing. I have to shout out to Stephanie.
Yes.
We wouldn't all be here together today if it wasn't for Stephanie, right?
She coordinated all this.
Yes.
Yes, she did.
Thank you, Stephanie.
I want to add one more idea for y'all, which is, I would challenge all of our peers listening right now to follow them on social media, whatever your channel, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. And what you can do is, if you can't call them, you can't do all that other stuff, you can certainly hit that share button after you follow them, and that's locally and the national. And then free. You make a comment too. You comment about them and to your group, your audience. That will help them tremendously in just getting their word out and their message as well, I think, right?
Absolutely. And Oceana, our communications person, is loving you for saying that. Thank you.
We've met her too online or through email.
Via email,
Another ACE alumni I'll add as well.
Wow.
Oh, nice. Stephanie just said thank you.
Oh.
We thank you, Stephanie.
Yes.
What a great conversation.
Yes.
Lifted up my entire week.
Thank you. And as you can see, there's tremendous passion by our staff. We have an incredible national staff as well as staff across the country. And thank you. This was an amazing opportunity for us.
Aww.
We feel the same.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. I wanted to read a part of your mission statement because it resonated with me so much. Celebrate diversity in construction and other industries through stories and experiences. Transparency, vulnerability, and authenticity are the core values that drive us to encourage and promote positive change that will one day reshape the current perception of women and minorities in non-traditional roles. When I went and read it, it just resonated home, and I just wanted to say thank you. This is a full circle moment for me with Miss Diana and Katie, and just being here with you guys today. I want to say thank you for allowing me to share my story.
You're going to inspire millions of people.
You are. You know what we would like you to do, Chandler, is maybe if you would write us a testimonial and send us a picture, a headshot, we'll put you on our website.
Okay.
We would love that.
Yes.
Thank you, Mike. something too.
Okay.
We had another. Christy, you wanted to read that one? Michael might put it back up for
Oh,
us.
sorry. I missed that one. Sorry. Oh, Kyron McLaurin said, "Congrats, Channy. I'm proud of you."
Chandler just has
I
a
think we're
huge
all like
audience.
beaming with pride right now, right? Like every one of us are just beaming with pride right
Yes.
now. And
Deserved
probably a
fan
lot of
club.
people who are listening.
Deserved
Yes,
fan club.
I want to thank Chandler for being brave and being willing to share her
Yeah.
story and echo what everybody's saying. You are inspiring the next generation, Chandler. So thank you
Yeah.
for taking the time today and being willing to share your story with everybody.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Mm. So are we ready to wrap it up, Christy?
I think so. I think we
Okay.
better. I
Yeah,
could be
we
on here for
better.
another hour, but
yeah. So I'm gonna just talk for a little bit here, and thank you all for joining us. We hope you've been inspired by the stories and insights shared. Remember, construction, architecture, and engineer are fields ripe with opportunities for anyone looking to build a fulfilling career. A big thank you to my co-host, Christi Powell, and for sharing this journey with me. That's what we do here. We support each other. And to everyone at the ACE Mentor Program of America, and there are many of you that have helped us put this on. So we thank you. Keep the conversation going, share what you've learned, and let's continue to support and uplift each other in these vibrant industries. Stay tuned to Women Talk Construction for more events, stories, and opportunities. Until next time, keep building, inspiring, and cultivating opportunities. Goodbye and big hugs.